Hey, this is Dr. A here to activate your day. How you guys doing? I am doing excellent, and it's so great to be back. And I have some excellent tips, something I want to share with you today, a question really to ask you. Are you an entrepreneur or a solopreneur? And some of you all may be saying, well, solopreneur, what is that? What are you saying? Did you make that up? No, actually, it's not something I made up. And it's something that's been around for some time. And the reason why I want to clarify, because when you really know what you are, then you can understand better and accept it, what you are, and be able to flow better. So let me kind of give a definition if I can. All right. Now, a solopreneur is defined as a person who sets up and runs a business on their own, which makes sense because it's solo. An entrepreneur is one who works alone, um, solo, running their business single handedly, and they may have contractors for hire, yet have full responsibility for running their own business. So simply stated, and this is from the definition here, looking at, what is this? Solopreneur. Simply stated, solopreneur is an entrepreneur who works solo, and this makes perfect sense, which means, and I'm going to give some explanations to you. A person that's a freelance writer. Um, if you say, I do graphic designs, I do this, but I do it on a freelance type of thing, that's a solopreneur. When you're doing some of these things they have online now, you are inputting data for a company, whatever, and that's what your business is. That's considered a solopreneur because it's just you doing it. And I hope these are good examples for you. True solopreneur is someone who has developed a business with no employees, that's portable, scalable, and produces passive income. Now, during this time in this season, I notice a lot of people are talking about different passive income and giving you great ideas. And I thought about doing it, and I said, I don't know, everybody else is doing. But you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go over not just what's out there, but what I believe is very helpful to you and personally. So I'm going to take my time and scale through and get that in there. Anyway, what is an entrepreneur? Well, Dr. A, I thought I was an entrepreneur. Well, an entrepreneur is an individual who, rather than working as an employee, founds and runs a small business, assuming all the risk and rewards of the venture. So that means a solopreneur, like I said, maybe a freelance writer, freelance whatever. And so they're just doing that part for someone else. So that's why it's a solopreneur. But when you're an entrepreneur, you may have you may actually run that instead of just being a freelance writer. Let's say, for instance, you may have a writing company, and you will have to be responsible for the topics that come in, the clients that come in, getting the topics, editing them, printing them if necessary. You know what I'm saying? You're responsible, all of that. You're responsible for the money you got to pay if you have to have insurance for this, if you got to have that, you got all of that you're responsible for. So that's the difference between the entrepreneur and solopreneur. So entrepreneurs sometimes do hire employees. It's not necessary all the time, but they do hire employees. Solopreneur have to deal with less financial risk. Solopreneurs ideally don't have to worry about customer acquisition because it's just them. So solopreneurs, sometimes they work in teams with other like-minded individuals. In other words, you partner. And anyone that's in the, say for instance, you're in the business where you sell Avon, or you sell, what's the other products that's out there? I think it's Herbalife, or whatever it is, those type of things. That's more of sometimes you may partner with another company to say, hey, listen, you sell this and I sell that. Why don't your customers that need my products, why don't you bring them over here and I'll bring them over to you? And it's basically that. And it's nothing wrong. Now, I want to make that clear. Being a solopreneur does not mean that you're less. It just means it's a little different. Like I said, solopreneurs don't have a lot of financial risk because they basically are focused on that one thing. That's what they're doing. That's it. A solopreneur is not looking at different various businesses. And the reason why I thought this topic was very important because I work with entrepreneurs. I work with people that are starting their business out, and I always try to give them, help and advice and what they need as far as from the structure to developing their business, all the way to marketing their business and promoting their business and some business structure as far as not just legal structure, but within the house. And I'm finding out that not everybody that thinks that they're an entrepreneur is really an entrepreneur. So I'm coming with all of these great things. Oh, this is what you can do for your employees. This is what you can do. And they're looking at me like, what do you mean? What employees? So, I'm looking at the whole big thing and I'm thinking, and then with your next business, you can do this because I'm thinking of serial entrepreneurs and so forth. But, and it's nothing wrong, but sometimes you have to know who you are talking with and know what you have to offer. So I'm going to make this quick, but there are some differences. And I just want to just share that with you, which I already did most of it. But solopreneurs, they don't wait to say, oh, I can't take any more. I can't deal with all of this because they're just doing focus on one thing. Say, for instance, if you're a freelance graphic designer, you do graphic designs, but you do it per when someone says they need something. Maybe you're hooked up on Upwork.com or you're hooked up on Fiverr.com or I think it's one called Freelancer.com. And that's your thing. And excuse me, if that's your thing, that you are a solopreneur. Excuse me. An entrepreneur works hard to build their business, but excuse me, they aren't quite as attached to the concept of solopreneur because their whole thing is, I don't want to have to do everything. That's what their thinking is. I don't want to have to do everything. If I got to hire a person to do this and do that, I'd rather do that because I have visions for other things. So that's the difference. The entrepreneur puts a face to a company. Most people that are doing freelance work, basically they just say, look, I do freelance, if you need help with this, I do this. And they just have a name out there, which is nothing wrong, but that's their whole goal. An entrepreneur puts more out there. You may want to put a branding of a logo. You want to get a statement. You want to get a mission statement. You want to get a vision statement. You want to promote your whole concept of the business. And you know that maybe you are starting out, but your vision is not about you. It's about the whole concept of the vision of the business that you have. So, an entrepreneur is different. So my question is, are you the boss or the CEO? Because an entrepreneurs are more of managers. When someone is an entrepreneur at heart, they're there to manage to make sure everything is flowing like they need to flow. You may even hire some freelance workers to do some work. You may even hire some virtual assistants to help with some work. But a solopreneur, on the other hand, likely is in no rush to hire anybody because their main thing is I know how to do this. I know how to sew this. I know how to make this. I know how to craft this. I'm going to do this and make this money. That's what they're looking at. So solopreneurs are workers. So my question says, are you the boss or the CEO? A lot of times solopreneurs, they say, you got people in general that say, I'm going to leave my 9-to-5 job and I'm not going to work for anybody else. I'm going to work for myself. And they get out here and they get lost and they get overwhelmed because, believe it or not, you're going to have to answer to somebody. I always tell people all the time, you think that because you're not working a 9-to-5 job, you don't have a boss anymore. Yeah, now the customers are your boss. Now, now if you're doing entrepreneurship, now you got to deal with the insurance, you got to deal with taxes, you got to deal with the legal uh, things. You have to have contracts. It's so many things you still have to deal with. Don't think, oh, I quit my 9 to 5, everything is great. I'm just gonna lay back on the beach and just enjoy, 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 because we see that as the end picture, but it takes work. Everything, if you want to accomplish anything, even when you have the passive income, in order to get to that area where it's passive, you still have to do something. You don't just show up and say, sign my name, and all of a sudden the money comes. So you have to do something. But my question is, I want to instill in your mind and that you're going to have to work in whatever capacity. Either you're going to be an employee working as your own solopreneur, or you're going to be the boss. You're going to be a manager or supervisor or what have you, or maybe just a CEO of an enterprise where you have other people working under you. And then you have to ask yourself, are you going to, do you want to deal with that? Do you want to deal with people not showing up on work to work? Do you want to deal with people being late? Do you want to deal with excuses? Maybe times you've done that on your job. Now it's coming back at you and it's biting you like, oh my gosh, I know why they won't just tell me. Why won't they do this? And because everything is work. But which are you? Now, I want to help you out. Myself, just in case you don't know, I'm Dr. Angela Williams. I am your activation coach. And my goal and my desire is to get your vision, bring your vision rather to life and to reality. So whatever it is that you say, I think I'm on this road. I don't know. Some people are doing a little bit of everything and you're hitting nothing and you're drowning yourself out and you're wearing your body out trying to be everything. Don't do that. Listen, reach out to me and I'm going to give you a free strategy session just to kind of see where you are and see where you're going. And if after that strategy session, if you feel like, okay, listen, I think she can help me with where I'm going and what I need to do, then hey, listen, we'll sign you up and we'll get you going. And I will be your mentor. I will walk you through your journey to get where you're going so you can be excellent in all that you do. And listen, this is Dr. A. I want you to awake, arise, and activate today.